Bruno Mars, the super talented singer and songwriter behind catchy hits like Uptown Funk and Just the Way You Are, has won over fans with his amazing voice and irresistible tunes. Known for his electrifying live performances and chart-topping tracks, Bruno has been a big name in the music scene for years. But recently, he's gone a bit quiet, leaving fans and critics scratching their heads about his sudden disappearance. For ages, there have been whispers and wild guesses about why he took a break from music. Now, at the age of 38, Bruno Mars is ready to spill the beans and share what's really been going on. Want to know the scoop behind his silence? Stick around as we dig into the surprising story of his unexpected time away from the limelight. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of Bruno Mars's career, let's rewind and check out his early life and the path that led him to fame. Early life and musical roots of Peter Gene Hernandez, better known as Bruno Mars, popped into the world on October 8, 1985, in sunny Honolulu, Hawaii. Growing up in the lively Waikiki area, Bruno was the son of Peter Hernandez, a Puerto Rican guy with Jewish roots from Brooklyn, and Bernadette San Pedro Bayo, a Filipino immigrant with Spanish ancestry. His folks met while performing. His mom was a hula dancer, and his dad played the drums. When Bruno was just a wee lad of 2, his dad nicknamed him Bruno because he thought he looked like the wrestler Bruno Sammartino. Bruno was one of 6 kids in a home that was buzzing with music. His early life was filled with all sorts of sounds, from rock and roll to reggae, hip-hop, and R&B. His mom's singing and dancing, mixed with his dad's love for Little Richard's tunes, had a huge impact on little Bruno. This mix of musical styles laid the foundation for the unique sound he'd eventually become famous for. Bruno's journey into music kicked off at a super young age. His uncle, an Elvis Presley impersonator, got him singing Elvis and Michael Jackson songs when he was only 3 years old. By the time he hit 4, he was performing 5 days a week with his family band, the Love Notes. His Elvis impersonation made him a bit of a local star in Hawaii. One unforgettable moment from his childhood was when he accidentally wet himself during a performance of Can't Help Falling in Love. But hey, even that couldn't dim his passion for performing. In 1990, at just 5 years old, Bruno got a shout-out as Little Elvis in the Hawaiian tabloid Midweek. He also rocked the halftime show at the Aloha Bowl and even made a cameo in the film Honeymoon in Vegas. By 6, he was interviewed by Pauly Shore on MTV and appeared on The Arsenio Hall Show. Throughout his elementary school years, Bruno kept the spotlight on himself with nightly shows alongside his family, covering songs by Frankie Lyman and Little Anthony. He also dabbled with a bunch of instruments like drums, guitar, piano, and percussion, showing off just how versatile he was musically. When Bruno was 12, his life took a big turn when his parents divorced, which meant the end of the Love Notes. With his dad's businesses failing, the family faced some tough financial times. They had to move to less wealthy parts of Hawaii and often found themselves sleeping in their car, on rooftops, or even in an abandoned bird zoo called Paradise Park, where his dad used to work. But through all these struggles, Bruno stayed strong and kept chasing his music dreams. His time as an Elvis impersonator really shaped his stage presence and musical style. As he grew up, he discovered new musical heroes, like rock legend Jimi Hendrix, whose incredible guitar skills inspired him to pick up the instrument himself. Bruno often thought about how his Hawaiian upbringing and his musical family influenced who he was, helping mold him into the performer we all know and love today. So how did that young boy from Hawaii transform into the superstar Bruno Mars? Let's find out. Getting into the music industry. While attending President Theodore Roosevelt High School in Honolulu, Bruno joined a group called the Schoolboys. They performed at various gigs, including opening for his dad's new band and covering classics by the Isley Brothers and the Temptations. During his high school days, he became a local sensation in Hawaii, landing cool gigs like opening for a major magic show and even impersonating Michael Jackson at a celebrity impersonator event, raking in $75 for each performance. Bruno's big break came when his sister, who lived in Los Angeles, played his demo for Mike Lynn, the head of A&R at Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment. Lynn was blown away and invited Bruno to LA in 2003. After graduating high school at 17, Bruno packed his bags and moved to pursue his music career. When he arrived in LA, he settled on Mansfield Avenue and was shocked by the poverty and rough conditions of the area. He decided to adopt the stage name Bruno Mars, taking the nickname from his childhood and adding Mars to give it a bit of extra flair. He picked this name partly because people often told him he was out of this world, and also to steer clear of being labeled as a Latin artist, which the industry initially tried to do by pushing him to sing in Spanish, a route Bruno wasn't keen on taking. After Bruno settled in Los Angeles, he quickly snagged a record deal with Motown Records in 2004. Unfortunately, that deal didn't bring him the breakthrough he was dreaming of. He also tried to connect with Will.i.am's management, but ran into more obstacles. Despite these early bumps in the road, his time with Motown turned out to be super important for his career. It's there that he met Philip Lawrence, an American songwriter and producer who would play a huge role in his journey. Sadly, just under a year after signing, Motown dropped Bruno from their roster. Instead of heading back to Hawaii, Bruno decided to stick it out in Los Angeles. In 2005, he landed a music publishing deal with producers Steve Lindsay and Cameron Strang at Westside Independent. With Lindsay's help, Bruno, along with songwriters Brody Brown and Jeff Basker, whom he'd met through Mike Lynn, began learning how to write hit songs. Lindsay made it clear that creating successful pop music was more than just raw talent. It was about grasping what made a song truly catchy. This learning phase was super important for Bruno and his team, even if it meant waiting 5 long years before they'd finally see some big success. During this time, Bruno played with a band called Sex Panther, which included Basker and his brother Eric Hernandez. Eric would later become the drummer for Bruno's band, The Hooligans. When Philip Lawrence first thought about meeting Bruno, he was a bit hesitant because of financial issues. But Keith Harris, the drummer from the Black Eyed Peas, stepped in and offered to cover Lawrence's travel costs, saying, "Whatever it costs you to get out here, I'll pay you back." Lawrence jokingly asked for just $5 for the bus fare. This support was a game changer, and even with a rocky start, Lawrence and Bruno began collaborating, writing songs and dealing with plenty of rejections from record labels along the way. Breakthrough moments. In 2006, Lawrence introduced Bruno to Aaron Bayshuk, who would later become his A&R manager at Atlantic Records. Chuck was blown away by Bruno's guitar skills and wanted to sign him right away. However, it took almost 3 years for Atlantic to officially bring him on board since they thought he needed more time to grow as an artist. By 2008, Bruno and Lawrence were nearly ready to throw in the towel. But then a call from Brandon Creed changed everything. Creed was on the lookout for songs for the reunited boy band Menudo and liked the track Lost, which Bruno had originally written for himself. Even though Bruno and Lawrence were hesitant to sell it, they agreed when offered $20 grand. This sale gave them the financial boost they needed to keep going, and Creed became Bruno's manager for the next 9 years. Before he hit it big as a solo artist, Bruno made a name for himself as a music producer, working with artists like Alexandra Burke, Adam Levine, Brandy, and Sean Kingston. One of his major early wins was co-writing Flo Rida's smash hit Right Round in 2009, which Bruno often points to as a key moment in his career. He also co-wrote the Sugababes song Get Sexy and lent his voice for backing vocals on their album Sweet 7-1 in 2010. Bruno was also featured as a vocalist on Far East Movement's 3D from their album Animal. He contributed to Jason Ma's debut single Love and worked on Travie McCoy's charity track One at a Time for MTV's Staying Alive Foundation, both in 2009. Bruno Mars's rise to solo stardom was nothing short of explosive. After a string of impressive collaborations, he quickly established himself as a standout artist. Let's take a closer look at how his solo career took off and explore his incredible journey to fame and fortune. Bruno Mars's big break came through his collaborations with other artists, and it was a game changer. His contributions to B.O.B.'s hit song Nothing on You and Travie McCoy's catchy track Billionaire really showcased his incredible songwriting and vocal talents. Both songs became massive hits, with Nothing on You reaching the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and the UK singles chart. This success wasn't just lucky, it was a clear sign of Mars's talent and his gift for crafting catchy, memorable music. Bruno often looks back on these early successes and shares an interesting thought. He believes that if he had sung the whole track of Nothing on You, it might have ended up sounding like classic 90s R&B, which wasn't the goal. Instead, being featured in the song allowed him to shine without overshadowing the overall vibe, adding his unique touch to the mix. On May 11, 2010, Bruno released his debut extended play, EP called It's Better If You Don't Understand. This EP was a major milestone in his career, marking his transition from being a behind-the-scenes songwriter to stepping into the spotlight as a solo artist. While it only peaked at number 99 on the US Billboard 200, it was a crucial step in establishing his presence in the music scene. The EP included a music video for the track The Other Side, which featured collaborations with CeeLo Green and B.O.B., further solidifying Bruno's reputation as a versatile artist who could work alongside big names in the industry. As his popularity began to soar, Mars faced new challenges like the pressures of fame and the demands of the music business. Navigating these challenges became an important part of his journey, testing his resilience and adaptability. The financial ascent. As Bruno Mars's star continued to rise, so did his earnings. In 2013, Billboard estimated his earnings at around $18,839,681, making him the 12th highest paid musician of that year. And that was just the start. By 2014, Forbes began tracking his earnings, reporting that Mars raked in an impressive $60 million between June 2013 and June 2014, placing him 13th on their Celebrity 100 list. His financial success kept climbing, and by June 2017, Mars ranked 6th on Forbes' world's highest-paid celebrities list, earning an estimated $39 million from June 2016 through June 2017. The following year, in July 2018, Forbes declared Mars as America's highest-paid musician of 2017, with total earnings hitting $100 million. This jaw-dropping figure also earned him the 11th spot on the Celebrity 100 list and marked his highest annual earnings to date. In 2019, he was ranked 54th on the Forbes Celebrity 100 list, with earnings of $51,500,000 between June 1, 2018 and June 1, 2019. But while Bruno Mars's journey to stardom was packed with exciting milestones and financial success, like many celebrities, he also faced his share of challenges and legal battles. Let's take a closer look at the legal issues that marked his journey. The legal incident. On September 19, 2010, Bruno Mars found himself in a bit of a pickle after a performance at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Security got suspicious when they noticed he was taking way too long in a bathroom stall, which led to his arrest. During the ordeal, Bruno admitted he'd made a foolish mistake and expressed how sorry he was about it. Looking back, he said he was surprised by how things turned out and learned a lot from that tough time. Even though the charges were serious, Bruno managed to work out a plea deal that meant he wouldn't have to do any jail time. Instead, he completed some community service and attended educational courses. By 2012, after ticking off all the boxes on his plea deal checklist, the charges were dropped, and Bruno was able to move on. Since then, he hasn't just put that chapter behind him, he's rocketed to even greater heights in his career. He's turned this experience into a learning opportunity, stressing the importance of personal growth and resilience. His journey serves as an inspiration for fans to tackle their challenges and chase their dreams. The billionaire copyright dispute. But Bruno's legal troubles didn't stop there. On January 28, 2014, Demetrius Orlandus Proctor filed a lawsuit against Bruno and rapper Travie McCoy. He claimed that their hit song, Billionaire, which Bruno co-wrote, ripped off his copyright. According to Proctor, the song's melody was way too similar to his own music. He claimed to have held the copyright for his music and lyrics since March 31, 2011, even though Billionaire came out a year earlier in 2010. To back up his claims, Proctor presented a certificate from the United States Copyright Office for a collection called Frisky Volume 1 to 30 tapes. He accused Bruno and Travie of deliberately infringing on his copyright and wanted all copies of the song destroyed, including taking down any unauthorized downloads and getting rid of any physical copies still out there. However, things didn't go smoothly for Proctor in court. The judge granted a motion to dismiss the case that Travie McCoy filed, citing a few problems. First off, Proctor hadn't properly served McCoy with the lawsuit, so the court found it had no personal jurisdiction over him. Plus, Proctor's case fell apart because he couldn't specify which parts of his work he claimed were copied, which the court saw as a big issue for the defendants. Despite this legal hiccup, Bruno Mars's career kept climbing. After a brief period of quiet, he released his second studio album, Unorthodox Jukebox, on December 7, 2012. In a clever move, Bruno let fans listen to the entire album a week before its official release. Unorthodox Jukebox debuted at number 2 on the US Billboard 200 chart, selling a whopping 192,000 copies in its first week. It quickly climbed to the top, reaching number 1 in several countries, including Australia, Canada, Switzerland, and the UK. With over 6 million copies sold worldwide, Unorthodox Jukebox cemented Bruno Mars's position as one of the biggest pop stars of the 2010s. Despite facing some minor criticism, the album successfully navigated the music industry without encountering significant controversies, proving to be a major commercial triumph. Just when things seemed to be on an upward trajectory for Bruno Mars following the release of his album 24K Magic on November 18, 2016, a new storm emerged surrounding his hit song Uptown Funk. This track, produced by Mark Ronson and featuring Mars, had already taken the charts by storm 2 years prior, but it soon found itself embroiled in copyright infringement claims. The most notable controversy came from the Gap Band. Members of the band, along with their producer, claimed that Uptown Funk bore striking similarities to their song Oops Upside Your Head. This led to them being credited as co-writers of Uptown Funk and receiving 17% of the publishing royalties. While this acknowledgement represented a significant financial windfall for the Gap Band, it was not the end of the legal disputes surrounding the track. In addition to the Gap Band's claims, several other artists entered the fray alleging that Uptown Funk resembled their own works. Serbian artist Victoria claimed her track was copied but ultimately chose not to pursue legal action. The electro-funk band Collage filed a lawsuit, asserting that Uptown Funk was similar to their song Young Girls. Meanwhile, the Sequence accused the track of infringing on their song Funk You Up. Adding to the legal turmoil in 2017, La Strada Entertainment pointed out similarities between Uptown Funk and Zapp's classic More Bounce to the Ounce. Despite some lawsuits being dropped over time, the controversy underscored the ongoing tensions within the music industry regarding copyright and originality. The discussions around these allegations delved into deeper issues, including the nature of musical inspiration and the fine line between homage and outright copying. Critics were divided on the matter. Some argued that Mars and Ronson's work was a fresh take on the funk genre, while others felt the track was too derivative, raising questions about ownership of musical styles and how past influences shape current hits. This situation also ignited debates about cultural appropriation. Some accused Mars of borrowing from black artists without providing proper credit, while others defended him, claiming his work celebrated and acknowledged the roots of the funk genre. Sensei Aishatu, who led a discussion on The Grapevine, criticized Mars for allegedly recreating existing work rather than offering something innovative. She suggested that his success was partly due to white audiences engaging with black culture through a non-black artist's perspective. In addition to the previous controversies, heirs of the Gap Band took legal action against BMG, alleging that the music company was withholding royalties from Uptown Funk. They claimed that despite the acknowledgement as co-writers, the distribution of royalties was not being handled fairly, further complicating the song's legacy and highlighting ongoing struggles regarding compensation in the music industry. The legal battles surrounding Uptown Funk not only affected Bruno Mars, but also prompted broader conversations about the rights of artists, the complexities of copyright law, and the impact of musical heritage on contemporary works. These discussions reflect the ongoing evolution of the music industry, where the lines between inspiration, influence, and originality continue to blur. The intense legal battle. In January 2021, the hit song Uptown Funk made headlines once again due to a legal dispute involving BMG rights management. The heirs of the Gap Band members, Robert and Ronnie Wilson, filed a lawsuit against BMG, alleging that the company failed to pay them royalties for their contributions to the popular track created by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. The legal entanglement traces back to 2015, when a deal was established in which 3.4% of the copyright for Uptown Funk was assigned to Ronnie and Robert Wilson. This agreement was intended as compensation for incorporating elements from the Gap Band's 1979 song Oops Upside Your Head into Uptown Funk. The lawsuit claimed that BMG, which had acquired the Gap Band's publisher Minder Music in 2015, failed to honor this contract by not paying the royalties or providing proper accounting for the Wilsons' share. The heirs sought over $75,000 in damages for breach of contract, along with an additional 9% interest per year retroactive to 2015. They emphasized that BMG was legally obligated to pay the Wilsons all income from Uptown Funk due under the contract following the acquisition of Minder Music. However, in April 2021, the Wilson heirs dropped the lawsuit without prejudice, meaning they did not permanently terminate the legal action and could potentially revive it in the future. BMG defended itself by stating that the allegations were unfounded and clarified that no settlement or financial exchange had taken place to dismiss the lawsuit. The company reiterated its commitment to treating artists fairly and maintaining transparency amid the ongoing scrutiny. The lawsuit brought attention to the complexities and challenges of managing music rights and royalties, as well as sparking renewed interest in broader issues of copyright and fair compensation within the music industry. The case highlighted how disputes over royalties can significantly affect artists and their heirs, leaving many to question the fairness of the industry's compensation practices. As the dust settled on the royalties dispute, another story began circulating about Bruno Mars. Rumors surfaced alleging that Mars was grappling with gambling issues and a substantial debt of $50 million. These claims raised eyebrows and led to speculation regarding their validity. So far, Bruno Mars has not publicly commented on these allegations. The rumors about gambling and debt could potentially stem from the challenges celebrities often face with personal finances, especially given the pressures and lifestyle associated with fame. However, without concrete evidence or a statement from Mars, the truth behind these claims remains uncertain. As Bruno Mars continues to navigate his career amidst legal challenges and personal rumors, fans and industry observers are left contemplating the complexities of success in the music business. The ongoing discussions about royalties, rights, and the pressures of fame reflect the intricate landscape that artists must traverse, highlighting the need for transparency and fairness in an ever-evolving industry. Bruno Mars's alleged gambling debt. In early 2021, Bruno Mars was embroiled in a swirl of controversy when reports emerged claiming he had accrued a staggering gambling debt, allegedly owing MGM Resorts International $50 million. These rumors suggested that Mars's gambling habits had spiraled out of control, leading to substantial financial losses. Speculation swirled that a significant portion of his earnings from his highly successful Las Vegas residencies was being funneled toward repaying this supposed debt. An unnamed source further fueled the narrative, asserting that Mars was basically owned by MGM because of his gambling habits. Naturally, these explosive claims captured the attention of fans, critics, and the media alike. With Mars reportedly earning around $90 million a year from his Las Vegas shows alone, many found it hard to believe that such a financially successful artist could find himself in such dire straits. Bruno Mars, a global superstar with millions of record sales, prestigious awards, and sold-out performances worldwide, seemed an unlikely candidate for such financial turmoil. The notion of him being burdened by a significant gambling debt added an unexpected layer of complexity to his otherwise glamorous public image. In response to the swirling rumors, MGM Resorts quickly issued a statement categorically denying the allegations. They described the claims of Mars owing them $50 million as completely false. The company highlighted its positive and respectful relationship with Mars, praising his contributions as a performer at their venues, including the Park MGM. MGM expressed pride in their partnership with the artist and assured fans that there was no truth to the notion that Mars's gambling habits had led to such a precarious situation. Despite MGM's strong denial, the rumors refused to dissipate. The story seemed too tantalizing for some to let go. Mars had previously acknowledged his gambling habits during a lighthearted carpool karaoke segment with James Corden in 2016, where he humorously admitted that there was a time when he used gambling to pay his bills. While this admission was made in jest, it left the door open for speculation about whether gambling had ever been a significant issue for him. The addictive nature of gambling, coupled with Mars's substantial earnings from his Las Vegas residencies, led some to wonder if there was more to the story than what was being publicly shared. The stark contrast between Mars's public image of wealth and success and the claims of crippling debt deepened the intrigue surrounding the situation. Fans and media alike pondered how someone seemingly in control of their career could be facing such financial challenges. As speculation regarding Mars's financial situation continued to swirl, he made headlines once again in 2023. This time, the news revolved around his musical partnership with Anderson .Paak, who together formed the duo Silk Sonic. In a surprising move, Mars announced that they would withdraw their album An Evening with Silk Sonic from consideration at the Grammy Awards. This decision was perplexing to fans and industry insiders, especially given that the album had received widespread praise and was a frontrunner for multiple Grammy nominations. The withdrawal from the Grammy race added another layer of mystery to Mars's public persona, prompting questions about the motivations behind such a bold decision. Speculation arose regarding whether it was a strategic move, a statement against the industry, or perhaps even related to the ongoing rumors surrounding his gambling and financial status. Bruno Mars's journey through controversy, from alleged gambling debts to unexpected decisions regarding award nominations, highlights the complexities faced by artists in the public eye. The dichotomy between his public success and the swirling rumors serves as a reminder of the challenges that can accompany fame. While Mars continues to thrive as a performer, the ongoing narrative around his finances and career choices keeps fans and the media captivated, prompting deeper conversations about the pressures of celebrity life and the realities behind the glitz and glamour. Bruno Mars is undoubtedly one of the most talented and captivating artists in the music industry today. His ability to blend various genres, from pop to funk to R&B, demonstrates not only his versatility, but also his deep appreciation for music history. Tracks like Uptown Funk and Leave the Door Open showcase his knack for creating infectious melodies and relatable lyrics that resonate with a wide audience. It's impressive how Mars has handled the pressures of fame, especially in light of the controversies surrounding him. Instead of becoming mired in public drama, he seems to prioritize his craft and the joy of making music, which is refreshing. His recent collaboration with Lady Gaga, Die with a Smile, seems to signal that he's ready to embrace new challenges while continuing to evolve as an artist. The decision to withdraw from Grammy consideration was intriguing. It reflects a maturity in understanding that success isn't solely measured by awards, but by the impact of his music and the connections he forges with his fans. His choice to step back and allow other artists to shine is commendable and suggests he values the community within the music industry. As for the rumors about his gambling debt, while they add an element of intrigue to his persona, I believe it's essential to focus on his contributions to music rather than the speculation surrounding his personal life. He has consistently delivered powerful performances and quality music that stands the test of time. Overall, Bruno Mars embodies the spirit of resilience and creativity in an industry that can often be unforgiving. I'm excited to see where his journey takes him next, both in his personal life and career. What are your thoughts on him? What do you appreciate most about his music or public persona?